Hey, I'm Billy Watkins. We are here today to kick off a segment at MississippiScoreboard.com. We're going to talk to the Jackson Academy coach, Lance Pogue, who's one of the top coaches in Mississippi, won multiple state championships and a national championship. I think you'll find it interesting what he has to say.
Michael Wimberly with Insight Group Real Estate. If you're like me, you're super excited about high school sports getting kicked off, but Insight Group is even more excited about partnering with Mississippi Scoreboard this year, bringing you the greatest in sports photography, videos, podcasts, and more. We appreciate you hanging out with us and hope you enjoy.
You know, your success is amazing when you think about it. 210 wins in 20 seasons of football. What do you think about when you think about those?
I've been blessed, no doubt. I thank the good Lord daily. Football has been really, really good to me, been good to my family, and it's afforded me a lot of opportunities. But you know, all the success I ever had, I contribute to guys that helped me, coaches, players, had great support in a lot of ways, and always, you know, keep those things in mind. And certainly the good Lord, number one. And you know, during the times we're in right now, you appreciate that more and more.
Absolutely, no doubt. You know, a lot of people thought you might be crazy when you decided to jump into that South Panola job. They won 4 straight and have won, I think, 60 straight games, won 4 straight championships. A lot of people would have said, I don't want anything to do with that. You said, bring it on, and I'm going to take it even higher.
Yeah, you know, I've never been afraid of a challenge. You always got people on the side that, you know, say, shouldn't do this, or I wouldn't do that, or if people criticize you, that's life. I mean, everybody faces that. I've said plenty of times, you know, whether it be the Monday morning quarterbacks out there or in church, you have people that have disagreements, anywhere in between, and you gotta just put your nose to the ground and go. And I never did let that bother me, the pressure of going there. I was thankful for the opportunity. I thought we could win big like they've been doing, but I wanted to take South Panola to a national level. And by taking that approach, it afforded us the opportunity to win a national championship in 2010 that's certainly will stand the test of time in this state. And I'm not sure it'll ever be done again in the state of Mississippi. I hope so, but that's something that will always be there, and I'm certainly proud of it.
One thing I've always wondered, particularly at South Panola, a small town, every game is life or death there. How did you not let the pressure seep into sometimes decisions or thinking about what if we lose? How did you keep that from seeping into your mind?
Never been a guy that got stage fright. I never have been a guy that got overly alarmed or nervous. I always prided myself when the pressure was on and the water was at its muddiest, I always felt like I could be at my best. And again, I didn't worry about anything on the outside. I worried about keeping our kids and our coaches' nose to the ground, so to speak, and focus on what we're doing. I knew at some point that you know, we were going to get beat, and that's you know, it happens to everybody. It happens to Alabama, it happens to all of them. But my charge was going to be, how do we respond to that when that happens? And I knew I had a great grasp of our team. They believed in me. They believed in our coaches. And when we lost the first time when I'd been there after the winning streak, we went on a run that ended up being a national championship run. So that was what I was prepared for, because the inevitable was, yes, we would lose a game at some point. And
we talked about that at times during that streak. And I remember you saying, you said it several times to me, and the sun will come up the next day.
Been a saying of mine forever. You know, adversity hits, the water gets muddy, any way you want to describe it. There's going to be times that are difficult, and you got 2 choices. You either cave in and melt, or you grit your teeth and fight. And we had a setback, and I said the sun will come up in the morning. If not, we got other issues to deal with. It's going to be way ahead of that. So I've always lived by that. It's how you respond. It's look ahead, not behind.
And you had to be proud with how y'all responded to that.
No doubt about it. We didn't flinch. We didn't cave in. There wasn't any finger pointing and all that. I'm sure there were some out there on the side, but our team and our players didn't. And again, after that, we went on a run that was unbelievable. And we played Rush Probst, who was at his team in Colquitt County, Georgia. Rush is a national Hall of Famer. And, you know, we beat those guys, scored 60-something points that day. And that put us on the on the map to be in the national championship hunt, and we were ended up running the table, beat Meridian in 2010 in the state championship game. And a week or so later, we were out of 3 out of 4 polls. South Panola came out was #1 in the nation, and again, unbelievable feeling.
Pretty cool. And let's mention too, the loss that snapped the streak happened in overtime. It wasn't like somebody just came out there and ran you off the field.
Right.
It was in overtime.
And what people don't talk about, they talk about us getting beat. A great football team beat us that night, Meridian. In 2008. That game goes into overtime. They miss a field goal late that would have won it without overtime. We miss an extra point in overtime that could have won the game. And, those things sometimes don't get talked about. They had Tyler Russell. They had a great team. And, it just happened that they made that one more play than us. And about 2 years later, we turn around and beat them. And that ends up putting us on the top for the national championship. So I had a lot of great rivalry games with Meridian, a lot of battles and all, and some of those were championship games.
How special was 2014 winning that national championship with your son Tyler at quarterback?
Yeah, well, it's a deal where that's something, a memory that will last forever. I mean, he certainly wouldn't have played quarterback at South Panola if he wasn't good enough. He understands that. He made his own way. He's 24-1 as a starter. And, won a state championship in 2014. Had a serious knee injury the spring going into his senior year. Just very, very unfortunate. And he had surgery, rehab in 4 months. He's back on the field for his senior year. Basically played on one leg, but he had the grit and determination that he wanted to play his senior year.
Amazing.
And the doctors cleared him and all, and everything. But that's something that's special, and will never be taken away. And it's a memory within our family that will be there forever.
I can't imagine.
It makes me proud of him. And again, overcoming those kinds of things makes me know without a doubt what he's made of, what kind of grit he's got in his life, because he knows now when curveballs gets thrown his way, and they will, and the water gets muddy, he's been there before, and he's got something to draw from, and he'll have the old sun will come up the next day mentality. Right. and carry on.
That's right. A lot of people don't know that taking the South Panola job may not have been your boldest decision. Your boldest decision may have been taking the job at Eupora, your hometown school, when you were very young.
Yeah, I was,
and that program was not in good shape when you got there.
Yeah, it was a total rebuild in 1998. I was 30 years old right at it. And, in 1998, I went in there, and that's my hometown. It's always been a good little football town, a good football school, but it had fell on some hard times. And we had to rebuild from ground up, starting with the junior high. And 4 years later, we're in the state championship in 2002. And boy, what a feeling! All the hard work and all the belief for a bunch of kids that hadn't had any success and didn't know anything about even a playoff game, much less being in a championship game, and had been beat down and didn't understand a celebrated locker room or any kind of winning success. Certainly one of the highlights of my coaching career.
Was there a little bit of hesitation of going back home, and people there, everybody knows each other in Eupora and in towns like that?
Billy, there's an old saying, don't really ever go back to your hometown and all and coach, but it was a special circumstance for me. My mom and dad were elderly, and I wanted my mom and dad to get to know their grandkids. And coaching, you're scattered out, going everywhere, and they don't see them a lot. And my two kids, my daughter Malia and my son Tyler, got to know their grandparents. And my dad's passed away now. My mom is elderly, but they developed that relationship. And again, I don't regret that one bit. I'm actually, it tickles me to think about it now. I didn't know it would quite plan out that way in the end. I spent 9 years there, and then the South Panola opportunity came along. But that's something that's special to me, because I know that my kids got to know their grandparents, and again, I'm appreciative of that.
No doubt. I'm interested in knowing why you became a coach. What is it about football? What is it about coaching that just makes you want to get up every day and go to work?
Well, I grew up farming. My dad and all my older sister and two brothers, we grew up working, and that's all I knew at a young age. And I developed a love for football in junior high. My dad was a football guy, and so as time went on and I got to enjoying the game, and I knew that, you know, I'm like any kid. I had dreams. I want to play in the NFL. Well, that was short-lived. Reality set in as you get older. But I knew I could coach. And I think the biggest thing is I always felt like I could relate to people. Coaching is about motivation, and you got to be able to relate to people to coach, and that whether that be grown-ups or kids. And I always felt that I had that, and felt like I could reach kids at any situation, whether it was a lower socioeconomic situation or a kid that you know had a background in different ways like that, and anywhere in between. And I always felt like I could be an influence in any crowd, any type crowd. And I think I connect with people, and I just thought that, boy, what a great thing. I love the game. Obviously, we all want to win, but the relationships that you build and the friendships that you make, no price tag for that. And it kind of started in that direction.
Now, you mentioned your parents, and I want to ask you this. I got to know your dad at some, and he was a walking sports encyclopedia about Mississippi football. I really always enjoyed visiting with him and talking with him. But you lost him at a tough. It's always hard to lose your parents, of course, but you lost him at a particularly hard time. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's 2012, and you actually wrote a story about it, and I'm greatly appreciative of that. My family and all are, but you know, it's during the middle of the football season, actually toward the end of the regular season in 2012. And we buried him on October 31st, and we played our last regular season game on November 1st the next day. So I had to totally shift gears, and there was about a 3-week span there that I was in and out some. I'd never missed a practice or anything, but time was running short with him, and I got to spend some time with him, but I had to keep my coaching going and all. I had great help at South Panola, great assistants that helped me with that. I'm forever grateful to those guys, keep us going. But then again, the next day we go play, and then we go right into the playoffs, and we end up winning state championship that year. How about this? And that year in 2012, we played Brandon for the state championship in Jackson. A month after my dad died. But there were 2 kids on that field tonight in Mississippi Memorial Stadium, both 2 sophomores that are now in the NFL. Gardner Minshew was a quarterback at Brandon. Brad Peterson was head coach. Outstanding football team, well coached. We had Darrell Henderson, tailback, who's the all-time leading rusher in the state of Mississippi, the Gatorade Player of the Year, who is now with the LA Rams. So who would have thought that at that time? So a lot of special memories, along that time. And again, it started kind of with a situation with my dad.
Yeah, I remember right before that state championship game, I bumped into you on the sideline, and you took your wallet out and pulled out a picture of your dad. And I'll never forget that.
Yeah, you know, it was a tough deal. I was close to my dad, and I wanted to win that championship. Even though he had passed away, I just thought he was kind of riding with us. Yeah. And great memory.
Great memory, it was. I know coaches do not like distractions, but y'all have been tossed the granddaddy of them all this year with all the coronavirus and all. You think the teams that handle it the best, the coaching staffs and the players, are going to have a leg up that handle it mentally for it not to be such a distraction?
Well, it's certainly a left-handed curveball. I can promise you that. Nobody saw this coming. The big thing is, Billy, is all the unknowns. There's no textbook or no manual to run to. And every day it seems like things change. And, we thought this, but now we're thinking this, so forth. So all we can do is we've tried to go by everything that the state and the government has put out guideline-wise, protocol-wise. We screen the kids for temperature. We go through any kind of question screening if you think you've been exposed to something, or those kinds of things. And then certainly being clean and cleanliness is a premium. It always has, because you're always worried about staph infections and things like that in a locker room. But now we've put a major emphasis above and beyond that to be clean. We've got, Clorox machines, and we clean every day before practice, both practices, and try to do the best you can. Certainly there's nothing come out of it right now that's foolproof, but we're trying to minimize the risk as best as we can. I know the kids and society wants a sense of going back to school and having athletics and all that. and you worry about the social and emotional part for kids, those things being taken away. So we're trying to create an environment to keep that going, but at the same time, safety is at a premium. I did tell our kids back in May when we were allowed to start for our summer workouts, who handles this the best in every way, whichever school it is or groups of school, can handle it in the very best way possible under these circumstances. We'll have a leg up in August when we actually do get to play the first game. I think we've done a great job of that, knock on wood. Certainly every day is a life of its own with this stuff, but feel like we've done a great job of it, and I'm just anxious to get these kids on the field and get a game under their belt and get to experience it, and hopefully things will kind of shape up moving forward. But again, the unknown is and I think that's nationally and worldwide. Yeah. And you know, we just all you can do is pray to the good Lord and try to follow the guidelines the best you can. Yeah. And that's all you really can do. And we've tried to make a concerted effort of that daily.
How do you think y'all are going to be at Jackson Academy this year?
Really excited about it, Billy. I'll be honest with you. It's a great group. We don't have a lot of expectations. Jackson Prep, MRA, are the kingpin of this league. Certainly, Prep has for many, many years, and over the last several years, MRA's put their program up there. We haven't got there yet. In order for us to get there, we've got to find a way to knock those guys off. It's easier said than done. I get that, but I really like the makeup of our team. They need some success. They need to experience success in order for us to have that breakthrough. And one day it'll happen. I hope it's soon. But that's my motivation. And it's everywhere I've ever been. I want to do something that somebody says can't be done. And right now there's talk out there that we can't be on the level that MRA and Prep is. And we got to find a way to do it. And that's my direction. And I won't rest until we find a way to get it done.
We can't thank you enough for doing it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You've been a great friend a long time. You're highly thought of, a professional, well-respected. I go back to the old Clarion Ledger, Jackson Daily days. A lot of people don't know about it, but you talk about my dad. He subscribed to both, and I never will forget during recruiting and then signing day, the Clarion Ledger didn't have the list of signees because that came in the morning. Well, the afternoon, Jackson Daily would, right. And I can hear him talking about that right now. We want to get that Jackson Daily in that February signing day to see who signed, and didn't have the computers and this and that now, and that was the fun days, and I certainly appreciate that and have great respect for you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot, Lance.
Yes, sir.
Good luck
Thank
this
you.
season.
Thank you.